You know, you take the first sip of the day and you can feel the entire sip of water go all the way down to your stomach, rehydrating your soul. That's what that just felt like. But hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the JohnnyCast. As you're probably aware by now, I am your host, Johnny Kith, and boy, am I excited to discuss a bunch of the topics I have planned for today. I mean, I've been itching the last couple of days to speak about some of the things we're going to speak about. If you missed it, on Thursday night, I did my first live stream on YouTube for the JohnnyCast Sports Show. It went as planned. I mean, it was a bunch of hiccups, bunch of bumps in the road. We had the guest audio fully just echoing brutally. Couldn't understand a word my guest was saying. On top of that, the actual stream, the broadcast, ended abruptly a few times, unbeknownst to me. But bottom line is, it was good to finally do it, and I'm going to be churning out a lot of them. I think it's a really great way to interact. The potential is there. You're able to speak to viewers kind of live, speak off the cuff, so I'm excited about it. Now, if you haven't already, hit me with a subscribe. Shoot me a comment in the comments if you feel some type of way about what I'm saying, good or bad, and most importantly, I guess, for the algorithm, like the video. Why not? So let's jump right in, because the first topic has been keeping me up at night, and that is Domino's Pizza. So if you're someone like me and you grew up in, I guess the tri-state area, we'll call it, whether it's Long Island, Westchester, North Jersey, parts of Connecticut, if you have been a person who has enjoyed the occasional Domino's on a drunk night or a night with your pals when you're in 7th grade and you're having an NBA street tournament, and you've been berated because of it or you've been talked down to because of it, don't let that slide anymore, because make no mistake, Domino's is fucking good, and it's not pizza, so let's not get that twisted. I mean, people, the amount of comments I've heard is like, what is that, fucking cardboard with jar sauce? Or that's not even fucking real pizza. Yeah, you're right. It's not real pizza. It's a fully different genre, and I'm okay with that. So it was a late Thursday night last week, and Johnny was low on calories. I mean, as we all know, it's bulking season currently. And so I needed a cheap way to find some calories. Now, I don't understand how they get these ingredients because, I mean, I could have got, and I did get, a 5-topping large pizza for $10. That doesn't make any sense to me. And, I mean, obviously, I'm not putting all 5 toppings on a pizza. I'm not fucking crazy. But the point is, if I wanted to, I could have. So the fact that that's available is it's just insane. So, I mean, the amount of times I've had to hear when my friends were over when I was a kid and I was like, Dad, we want Domino's. Like, Arian Foster just scored a touchdown. My fantasy team's doing amazing. Can we get Domino's? My dad's like, if you want pizza, I'll get real pizza. I'll get real pizza. We're not getting Domino's. It's like, dude, you're just not getting it. You're not understanding what it's all about. So if you're one of those people, and this is the thing too, this might be heresy. I don't care. I'll throw pineapple on the pizza. I don't give a shit. I'll get a nice, well-done, hand-tossed pie, a little bacon, a little pineapple for the kids, and it is what it is. The bottom line is it's a little sweet, it's a little salty, and it's not pizza. I'm not throwing pineapple on my actual pizza, but if it's Domino's and I'm sloppy blacked out at 3 a.m., I'll do it. So let's move on from the Domino's situation. I'm moving quick. I'm bobbing and weaving. I want to discuss the comments that I received on my last TikTok that did well, which was a Bloomingdale's, me basically talking about how Neiman Marcus and Bloomingdale's workers just like speak down to the client or the customer. And yeah, you can watch it if you'd like. But the point is that this opened up a new world in terms of me understanding just who the TikTok commenters are. And there's some wild ones. So to get it started, randomly, this guy, the first comment that caught my eye is this guy goes, I'm going to read them off the list. This guy goes, just randomly into the void. I don't know who he's speaking to. I don't know who he's trying to impress. He's not trying to impress me, I don't think. And he goes, try buying a Rolex at retail. That's what he says, this guy. He says, try buying a Rolex at retail. As if the viewers of this TikTok are now going to understand and be able to get on the same level as this guy. So God bless him. But then it just gets crazier and crazier. The next one, and these are funny. I mean, the next one, this guy's agreeing with me, or this person's agreeing with me, and he goes, I know. They are fucking peasants. They should be licking me dry. That's what this person says. I mean, someone go get this guy. I think one of those sponsors for the podcast usually are BetterHelp. Someone get this guy some therapy, get him some anger management, because Jesus Christ, dude, take it easy. Take it easy. It was a joke bit. A little truth to it, but it was a joke bit. And now we get to the grand finale, the silver and gold medalists, because these are just out of control, hysterical. This person tweets or comments, he goes, never had a problem in any of these places. You must just seem poor. Oh, buddy, you're missing the point, my friend, but God bless you. And then the last one, the gold medal winner. I mean, the best comment that's ever existed in the history of the world. This guy goes, ha ha ha, my wife works there for fun. She is wealthier than you. And then to make it even better, there was another person who commented at that guy and was like, no, my wife like uses this as more of a hobby than your wife. I'm even wealthier than you. And it was this whole back and forth basically argument about who's richer. Wild comments. So listen, I'd like to learn a little bit more about this interaction with the commenters on TikTok. So TikTok, if you want to push the algorithm, if you want to push my vids a little bit more, I'd love to be able to get a little bit more taste of this. So God bless you. And then another comment that had nothing to do with the Bloomingdale's post itself, but everyone kept saying, do Lululemon, do Lululemon. We want to hear your thoughts on Lululemon. So I'll give you my thoughts on Lululemon. Now, this isn't a coincidence that I'm wearing Lulu because I'm a big Lulu guy. If you know Johnny, I'm a consumer. They used to call me Johnny the C in middle school because I'll consume. And it's to a fault, honestly. I probably should be talking to someone about it because, I mean, I'll buy and I'll buy. And I'm an athleisure king. Lulu, I'm wearing Aloe, I'm wearing Viore. Anything that I can wear to the gym, but I could also wear to the airport, I'm wearing it all the time. Let's be honest right now, unless I'm going out, obviously. So, and also make no mistake, Aloe, they're slumping. They're getting in bad standing with Johnny Kith. I mean, the absolute worst thing you can have when you buy a piece of clothing is you wash it once and it starts balling up, and that's exactly what the Aloe brand is doing right now. So they got to fix something. But let's get to Lululemon. So I have not a bad thing to say about Lululemon. I mean, you walk in there. I will say, I mean, the men's section could be a little bit bigger. For guys like me who are going to spend in there, I mean, give me more than just a little bit of room. I want to be able to see the merchandise in a larger setting. But bottom line is, great place. I walk in there, you got attractive women in yoga pants with the red fucking Lululemon crossbody. They're ringing me up on their phone. Then you got, I mean, the guys are helpful. You go, let me tell you about their dressing rooms. You walk in there, it's always chaos. There's 80 million people trying to try shit on, and that's for a good reason. It's a hot spot. So you walk in there, and you got people writing your name. They're writing Johnny 4 on. You know what? Make no mistake. Actually, I'll bring 7 articles of clothing in. I don't give a fuck. I'll have a picnic in that thing because they don't rush you out of there. So they write on the little whiteboard on your door of your thing. They write Johnny 7 in nice purple, maybe green, pink marker. You go in there, like I said, you could have a whole 5-course meal in there. Then you get to basically ask the opinions of the experts. I walk out of there, I go, hey, how do you think this fits? How do you think this fits? And they're going, and I got a whole board of people. I got 4 different people that work there. Like, yeah, no, I think that fits good. That fits, and they're like, they're not selling me. They'll tell me right now, hey, buddy, I mean, it doesn't look good. So great job on Lulu's end. I have no issues with the clothing brand, and they did slump for a little bit, I would say, in like when they were starting to expand heavily, but now they're back and they're better than ever. I mean, I'm wearing this like oversized fucking thing. It's light, it's airy. I got the Represent hat, the new era fucking collab. I'm feeling nice right now. All right, it's a Saturday morning. We love it. We love it. So that's really all I got to say about Lululemon. Let's see what else I got to talk about. This is special. So I got to imagine, I really have to imagine that in 2023, there is not an easier profession than being like a marketing executive at a clothing company. Because I was in the car a couple days ago, and I'm on the radio, and I'm hearing a commercial for this company called Flag and Anthem. They're a clothing company, apparently. Now, this isn't a hit piece on Flag and Anthem. They could be a good brand. They could sell some quality garments. They could. But their slogan was, I had to pull my car over and take a knee and I was like blown away. I was getting lightheaded by how crazy the slogan was. The slogan for Flag and Anthem goes as follows: real clothes for real life. Now, I want you to think about that again. The slogan for Flag and Anthem is real clothes for real life. There was a boardroom of like 15 people sitting all across a long, like, glossy mahogany table, and they all decided, they greenlit someone's idea that the slogan for their clothing brand is going to be real clothes for real life. Now, in what world would these clothes, first of all, not be real? Well, in what world would they be fake clothes? And secondly, in what world would they be in for fake life? So these aren't just clothes you can dream about. They're clothes you can actually wear, and they're not fake clothes. Like, you're not going to walk outside naked. They're real clothes. So the fact that they have to tell you that, I think is telling of how much effort these companies are putting into their slogans, because now you could say anything. Whatever headhunter got that marketing executive his job, get in contact with JohnnyCast, because I'll become the next CEO of a major Fortune 500 company with this shit. I mean, the amount of effort that's been going in is just out of control. So God bless them. Absolutely God bless them. Let me take another sip of my reverse osmosis water out of my glass mason jar. Refreshing, baby, refreshing. And let's move on to the topic of patriotism, I guess. And what I mean by that is, so we're talking about Flag and Anthem. I'm assuming it's a patriotic brand. It just sounds like it would be Flag, right? And there's a guy, if you've seen him, his name is Eddie Barrett. Okay, now you might not even know him by that name because he doesn't even address himself as that name. If you've seen him on TikTok or Instagram, this is a guy who goes by, he calls himself New York's hardest working detective, and God bless him. This guy is a fake guy. He's a superhero. He is getting up at like 2 a.m. He thinks he's Mark Wahlberg. He's getting up. He's running a half marathon every morning in like 10-degree weather in pitch black darkness. He's getting home straight to the gym. He's doing like 1,000 reps of fucking incline flies with 100-pound dumbbells. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. Then he gets home from that. He's like cooking fish at like 4 a.m., throwing it into Tupperware, and he's on his way to work to become, again, to fight crime, basically, to become the number one crime stopper in this incredible city. And it's just out of control, the fact that he's able to do this. So Eddie Barrett, if you're watching this, I want to thank you for your service, and I want to also have you understand that, I mean, I know that, so I'm in the suburbs here, I'm not in the boroughs, but I mean, if I saw this guy running around, and I don't know why I'd be up at 3 a.m., let alone in my car, but if I was in my car and I saw this guy jogging on the side of the road like David Goggins, okay, and granted, he has a little gyno, it is what it is, but he's jogging on the side of the road, doing a half marathon at 3 a.m., he's about to go to the gym after. I'm not even parking my car. I'd be in such a frantic daze. I would just jump straight out of my car and join him on this run, and I wouldn't stop running until he told me he's done. It could be 50 miles. I don't care. This guy pumps me up, and he's part of the motivational community now, and God bless him. He's right alongside Jocko Willink. He's right alongside David Goggins, and for good reason. He's like Batman. I think Batman's slogan was literally, or whatever the fuck, Batman's phrase was world's best detective. Well, Eddie Barrett is literally, I mean, the New York's hardest working detective. If you have something to say about it, you can come and see me, because even if you murder me, if you murder me, within 2 days, you're tried, the trial's in, and you're in jail, because, I mean, he's going to fucking hunt you down. There's no one better than Eddie Barrett for this shit. So, God bless that guy. What else do I got to talk about Eddie Barrett? Let me think. All right, we had a little bit of an interruption. My alarm on my phone went off, and when you're using a iPhone for your podcast camera, that's going to be an issue. It's going to stop the recording. So I'm back, and as we were saying, I was talking about Eddie Barrett, but then I was also about to speak about Kendall Toole. So let's get right into that. So I own a Peloton. I've been pretty into Peloton the last year and a half. I unfortunately bought the bike at the peak. So, I mean, I got smoked for the price, but it is what it is. The bottom line is that I had been doing Alex Toussaint rides for the entirety of my Peloton career. I mean, he's the man. He's a fucking G, Suffolk County king. I mean, Hamptons kid, tough kid, gets it, great music taste. The Club Bangers rides are awesome. He's doing New Tracks rides. He's doing a lot of R&B. He's doing a lot of hip-hop from the 90s. It's awesome. And the workouts are pretty challenging. They're nice. But so one day I was in the mood for like a switch up, and I had never done a ride other than Alex Toussaint, and I was like, I kind of want to like rock out to some fucking like Chevelle, or maybe like some new metal, like some Deftones, some Limp Bizkit, maybe even Korn. I was like, I'm in the mood for something heavy. So on Peloton, you could search like a song or an artist, and then they'll show you rides that include that. So I did that, and the first one that comes up is by this woman, this just fake human being in the most positive way, Kendall Toole. So I click on that, and I start the ride off, and she's just like scorching hot. She's like gorgeous, and basically, as the ride's going on, I'm like, holy shit, this is actually harder than an Alex Toussaint ride. No disrespect to Alex Toussaint, but it was fucking kicking my ass. So I was like, holy shit. The music that she was, I don't know if she picks it, I don't know if they pick the music or what it is, but like the playlist was on point. She's fucking singing along to like mid-2000s just hard alt, and she's on fucking key. She's singing along, she knows the fucking words, and she sings like she's the lead singer of Evanescence, okay? She's fucking She's kicking everyone's ass in the Peloton ride. She's making references to football and golf, and it's not like little generalizations. She sounds like she knows what she's talking about. She even mentioned like James Hetfield. She knows Metallica. So now I'm like, holy shit. I'm getting depressed on this ride because I'm like, how does this person exist? Like, this can't be real. And then after I get off the ride, I like look her up. She was like a USC cheerleader. Now she's a Peloton instructor. I think she's like in her late 20s, maybe early 30s. She's doing dry January, and I'm like, what, dude, this is a perfect human being. Anyone that has every single interest of mine that's of the opposite sex can't be attractive. So the fact that she looks like this and she has these interests is fucking wild. So that's my little Kendall Toole, I got something on the mic. That's my little Kendall Toole rant of the day. God bless her, and God bless her family. And speaking of dry January, I said that she participated in that. Let me give you my journey of not drinking, because it has been quite some time since I had my last sip of alcohol, and I'm telling you right now, it might be a permanent thing. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be tough, but it might be. I stopped drinking December 3rd. The reason why I know that date is because it was the morning of the United States World Cup game against the Netherlands, and they lost, and I was like blacked out at like 8 a.m. like a slob, and there wasn't any type of event that was like, oh, I got to stop drinking. I was just like, all right, like whatever. I'll maybe like take a break for a week. And then a week turned into 2 weeks. And now it's about to be Christmas. And I was like, there's no way I can go the holidays without drinking, right? And then I made it through Christmas. So I was like, holy shit, there's no way I can make it through New Year's Eve without drinking, right? And I made it through New Year's Eve. And now all of a sudden it's January. And I go, all right, well, I can do dry January. And here I am. It's February 4th. And I have not had a sip of alcohol in 8 weeks. And let me tell you about just, honestly, my personal benefits. The first 4 weeks, it was, you don't really understand what's going on in terms of the benefits because it's all new. But as time goes on, the momentum picks up. You're able to hit Saturday workouts. You're able to feel good on Sundays. You're able to emotionally be stable all the time and not, I mean, anxiety is at an all-time low. You just feel great. And there's not any type of like yo-yo effect in your life where like it's a high and a low. It's just consistent all the time, and it's fucking unreal. You're more productive at work. You're more productive in the gym. You have actual time to do things you like and you love and hobbies, because now half of your Saturday isn't you just battling to get out of bed. So that's the first month, and then as you build on that time, and you understand more of a structure and a routine of what you're able to do, it just keeps getting better. I mean, I tried to quit drinking in November, and it was tough. I actually read, again, it sounds like I have an issue. I really don't. I just like hate the idea of not being able to really be like the best version of yourself, and when you drink, that's an obvious one. So I read a book that was recommended to me a bunch of times via podcasts and stuff. It was called, I think it's called How to Quit Drinking by Alan Carr, or something to that effect. And so I read that book, and although I agreed with the sentiment and it made a lot of sense, in practice, it was just tough to actually follow through with. I mean, I remember I was in the city, and I went out with one of my friends, or a couple of my friends in like middle of November, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to drink. It's easy. I'm not going to drink. I don't need drinking. And then what happens is you pregame, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to drink. And then you go to the bar, and I remember the bar was like a line to get in. And now everyone's drunk already on the line. I'm sober, and I'm still saying, I'm fine. I'm looking into the bar as I'm on the line, and it's just shoulder to shoulder, people bumping into each other. You don't realize how no one understands personal space when they're drunk, and it doesn't matter when you're drunk, but when you're sober, it's ridiculous. So then I get into the bar, and it's just people bumping into me left and right. I'm like a little awkward because everyone's loose, and I'm like social anxietied up. And after like a half an hour, I was like, all right, I can't take this anymore. And I just beeline straight to the bar. I order like literally 3 shots. I just smoke them all. I order like 3 beers, drink 2 of them, and then have the third one in my hands. And then now I'm playing catch up. And night ended as usual. It was like 2 a.m. I'm shit-faced and yada, yada, yada. So then, like I said, this all happened organically after on December 3rd. And what's interesting is a couple other things. It's almost like a social experiment, because I've went out twice now. While I haven't drank, and it's an interesting scenario. I think when you don't drink, it allows you to do things and interact with people socially in places that are other than obviously bars. So it's an interesting kind of change up. And that's why it's a little difficult for me as a guy in my 20s. Like most people you meet, most normal people, whatever that means, are going out to bars on the weekends. They're drinking, and alcohol is a big part of their life. So to get out of that, it's a little tough, but it is what it is. So when you have that like feeling of like maybe some social anxiety or something, I read this somewhere. I don't exactly know where I read it, but it's a great like little clue, great little key into how the mind works. So when you drink, maybe this is just me, but when I was drinking a lot, it was because, and you don't do this purposely or consciously, but it's like a lot of the things that maybe I'd feel a little uncomfortable doing if I was sober, I would do when I was drunk, and it was easier, whether that's when you go on a date and you're drinking a little bit, or you're just out at an event, at a bar, maybe a family event you don't want to be at, and you're basically shielding having to deal with that in real time, and it just continues to delay the inevitable, and you just subconsciously kind of still feel like shit. And when you're a kid, think about this. Maybe this is how I was, and this is not I guess the regular human experience. But when I was a kid, you'd get like invited to maybe like a family party, or a like with distant cousins, or maybe just a family friend's house with like a bunch of people for like a birthday party. And you're like 7 or 8, and you don't know anyone. You're not going to know anyone. So when you get there, maybe it's a little antsy, you're a little nervous. You're like, oh, I don't really know these people, and everyone really doesn't know each other, and everyone's a little maybe awkward. And then after an hour or two, everyone's best friends, they're jumping around, you're wrestling around, you're playing video games together, or you're just like being like kids, right? You're being kids, and everything's cool. And then at the end of the night, you become like best of friends, and then it resets after that. And then maybe you don't see those people for another year, and then that same routine happens again. Well, I mean, those kids aren't drinking alcohol, so why do you need to drink alcohol? Why can't we just see how organically the night can kind of make you more comfortable as it goes on? So I've been out twice as a sober individual. The first time, I'm actually forgetting, I don't remember why, but I was like somewhere where I wanted to go because I wanted to see these people I hadn't seen in a while, but usually I'm like, but I have to drink. Now I go, you know what? I don't need to drink. So I went there and it went well. Throwing back just club sodas with lime. I look like an idiot, but no one really knows. Everyone thinks you're drinking probably like a gin and tonic or something. So that was that, and that kind of scenario happened where as the night goes on, everyone else gets a little more loose, you feel a little more loose, and it was absolutely great. I had a good time, and then you get to drive home, and you get to wake up the next morning and maybe go on a run or hit an early workout, and you're not ruining the day, and when you go to sleep that night, you feel good. It's a cool experience. Everyone should try it out. But the second time was I was at a bar for the Giants game. Now, make no mistake, my friends invited me to go to the bar with them to watch the Giants game. I'm not a Giants fan. I'm a Jets fan. And in general, I'm not going to watch a team that I'm a diehard fan of at a bar. I'm watching it in my living room. If this is a Yankees game, if this is a big Yankees game, you couldn't catch me dead at a bar. I'm watching it. I'm either in the stadium, but more so because I actually enjoy on the TV being able to really see everything that happens at every pitch. I am in my living room, or I am with friends in a living room, or a den, or a man cave. I'm watching it proper. So anyway, I go to the bar for the Giants game, and it's just funny to me, like when you're the guy who doesn't drink and you're not even throwing it in people's faces, but people know, they get uncomfortable around you. It's a weird scenario. Alcohol is the only substance where if you tell someone you don't do it, or they find out you don't do it, they assume you have a problem. I told someone, hey, listen, I don't do heroin. They don't assume that I've ever done heroin. They just are like, all right, yeah, obviously he doesn't. But if you tell someone you don't drink, they go, oh, fuck, he probably has a problem. So, I mean, the pressure and like the little bit of like the making fun of situation and the uncomfortability of people when you tell them you don't drink, or when they ask you, is just an interesting social thing. And again, same scenario. I mean, that night went well, and I felt good. I'm not going to go to bars often, but if I want to see people that invite me somewhere, I'm going to go and hang out. And I'm sure I'll drink again. I mean, I have a bachelor party in late April in Europe that I'm excited to go to. And so I'm imagining I'll drink there, but in the foreseeable future, I cannot imagine a situation where I drink. Not because I'm like trying to limit myself or I feel like I'm handicapped. No, I'm literally just doing it because I want to do it. And I have no problem taking there's no like hard rule in the sand, but especially dating wise, right? Like I'm sure now, especially in the future, people probably think it's a little odd. Some girls will think it's odd that like I'm not drinking, or that I don't drink. And listen, I don't want to get emotional here. I don't want to get weird here, but like if you have an issue with me not drinking alcohol because I'm trying to like live what I want to do, then you're not the right person. You're not the correct person. So it is what it is. So I'm feeling great about this no drinking thing. I'm gonna keep it up. A lot of fitness goals are being taken down. The grind is at an all-time high. I mean, just between cardio 4 to 5 times a week, running now consistently for the first time in a long time, on top of my 6-day like weightlifting split, on top of a bulk. I mean, it's incredible. I've really, it's only been 6 weeks. I've obviously been in way bigger regimens for way longer time in my life, but this 6 weeks has not felt, or 8 weeks, I guess it's a full 2 months. It hasn't felt forced at all. I feel fucking incredible, and I'm gonna keep telling people I feel incredible because it makes me feel good. It does. It's positive reinforcement. It really is. All right, let me go check my notes because my screensaver just went on. I can't see what the fuck is going on over here. Oh, that reminds me. I mean, this has been a theme of today's podcast is like shitty food, whether it's Domino's or the diner. I'm not a soda guy. Never have been, never will be. It's not that I'm against soda. I understand it's bad for you. It just doesn't really do anything for me. It's empty calories. It's like I would just rather have water. I mean, it just feels dirty to me when I'm like eating something and then I have to like wash it down with something other than water, unless it's like milk and it's like pancakes. Like what? I don't know. I've never understood the soda thing. I've also never been a Coca-Cola guy. If I have to drink soda, it's going to be a Sprite. And actually, now that I think about it, there's 2 scenarios where a Sprite is nice. The first scenario, this is actually incredible. The first scenario is a little Chinese. So maybe it's 8 p.m. on a random Wednesday. You get a little beef lo mein. You get those crispy noodles in those paper envelopes. A little fried rice, pork fried rice. Let's think what else we got. We got General Chow's chicken. It's got to be a little bit more spicy than usual. Let's think what else we got. We got some soup and pork dumplings, steamed as well as fried. Bunch of fortune cookies, and make no mistake, loaded up with the duck sauce. I want as much duck sauce as possible for my 2 egg rolls I'm going to eat. And with all of that is going to be, and it has to be in a can, it's going to be a canned Sprite. It's going to be a canned Sprite. And that Sprite, if it has the retro Sprite labeling, that Sprite's going to taste even better. But either way, you crack that little can open, that's a good Chinese food dish. I mean, that is, you could be eating actual cat food. Like, you could be eating, like, fried cat. If you're cracking open a canned Sprite with that, it's going to taste good. You're going to love it, and it's going to put you in that vibe. And the second one, and this is a rarity at this point because, I mean, I'm not really walking in by myself to pizzerias often. This feels like a thing when I used to be like ride my bike around town after a pickup basketball game. But bottom line is, you go into a pizzeria, you get a regular slice, nice crispy off the oven, and you get a fountain Sprite. Now the fountain Sprite, I don't want to see the label on the cup of the pizzeria. That means that the pizzeria is a little too commercial. It's a little too mainstream. I want those white, you know what I'm talking about, those white cups with the green and purple little spray paint crayon on there. I want to see that little rectangular sign in the corner of the window that says Gino's Italian Ices that every pizzeria in the world has, and I want to eat that regular slice. I don't want to put anything on it. I think it's kind of for the Medigans when we see the fucking when we see people throwing the salt and garlic powder and fucking hot pepper flakes on the slice of pizza. Eat the slice of pizza the way it is. But yeah, you throw a fountain Sprite in there. Those are the only 2 times I will drink soda. It's a fountain Sprite with the slice, and it's a nice crack of that Sprite can, preferably a retro label, when I'm eating some Chinese food. And these are rarities. I mean, this happens once a decade, but when it does, it's special. So that's what I got on that. Speaking about this nostalgia, I mean, so we're talking about this retro Sprite cans. I just came across this. I mean, what is going on in China? I know we kind of know what's going on in China, but I mean, what's really going on in China? Where I just came across, they got these things now that are like, they look like PSPs, if you know what those are. They look like a Game Boy Advance, but like high tech, where you can play every game that's ever existed known to man, basically from Atari all the way to PS2. You could be playing Super Nintendo, you could be playing Crazy Taxi on Dreamcast, you could be playing Vice City, all in your pocket for under $100. We got to get Eddie Barrett, world's fucking best detective. We got to get Batman over there, the fucking New York's hardest working detective. After he does his 3 o'clock in the morning run, we got at negative 12 degrees, he does a fucking half marathon, and then he goes to the gym and does fucking 1,000,000 reps of bench, and then he gets in his Tesla with his pulled chicken. He's meal prepping pulled chicken, and he's running to the fucking office, and he's fighting crime. After that, we need him to get on a private jet, and we need him to get to China and just break into one of these factories and understand how I'm able to have a handheld video game system with every game ever existing. I mean, I could play MLB The Show 06 with Pujols on the front. I could be playing Need for Speed Underground. I could be playing Super Mario 64. I could be playing Mario Sunshine. I could be playing fucking Street Fighter. What, Mortal Kombat, Sonic? What is going on with this shit? It's incredible. If I had this in high school, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be 6 feet deep. I would have wasted my life away because I'd be playing this in high school all day. I would have went to no college, and then I would have literally just atrophied into my couch from playing this all day long. The charger would have been hooked up, and I would have been just playing this handheld system until it burned my hands. Because, I mean, the fact that it's good and that it looks good and that it's good customer service and that, I mean, something's not right with that shit. And then that reminded me of just the conversation I was having with my boy about just nostalgia in video games and just like that mid-2000s nostalgia. If you're my age, or maybe you had an older brother like this gentleman did, I mean, the MTV lineup, I've probably mentioned this on the podcast before. I'm not going to go into it in full detail, but I mean, just like the MTV Cribs, the Next, Parental Control. Then you had like incredible video games like Vice City and like SSX and even like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. You had just such great, the music. You had the fucking 50 Cent G-Unit era. This is when Jay-Z was probably at the peak. I mean, post-90s Jay-Z, but like pre him a little bit falling off Jay-Z. This is when you had right before Lil Wayne, you had now Xbox 360 is about to come into orbit, so Halo 3 is about to pop. This was a magical time. It was a magical time, and to be able to play all these games now in my pocket with this fucking system is a little scary. I'm playing Pokemon Fire Red. It's fucking wild. What else do I got to talk about? Another thing about video games. I was on YouTube as I usually am. I mean, I waste so much time on YouTube because it's the best thing ever. But a Dr. Disrespect live stream was on my like whatever you call it, recommended. So I clicked on it. I hadn't watched Doc in about a year, but I'm a huge fan. I always have been. And as I'm watching this, the first 2 minutes I click onto this video, I mean, he is the funniest dude that's ever existed in for that genre of entertainment. I mean, he was born to do that. Dr. Disrespect was born to be a video game streamer. There's no one better in the world at it than him. I mean, I don't care if he's not the best in the world at actually gaming, but I mean, dude, if you've ever heard of what an ikigai is, look it up if you haven't. A fucking Japanese ikigai. It's like your purpose in life that also benefits society, but also allows you to put some paper in your pocket so you can live a good life. That's his ikigai. He found it because he's just rattling off gold. He's singing along. He's got the green screen. He's fucking hysterical. I can watch. If you put me in a room for a full year with only a TV and just food, and I had to just watch infinite amounts of Dr. Disrespect rage compilations along with maybe some Alex Jones compilations of rants of his, I'll stay in there for over a year. And then when you tell me I can leave, I'll just not want to leave because it's just too good of entertainment. It really is. So, Doc, I don't know how you're listening. Actually, the reason why Doc might hear this is because maybe the keywords. My friend fucking at that game Valorant, and I'm not really aware of what that game is, but like I know my friend was playing Valorant and he like killed Doc like a couple times, and then he went on this whole rant. My friend's gamer tag or whatever the fuck his username is Daddy Butter, and my boy killed him a couple times, and then Doc went on a fucking full rant about Daddy Butter, and it was fucking hysterical. Like just primetime TV. If this was 1970, he'd be on Johnny Carson every night. He really would be. So that's what I got with that shit. Speaking of entertainment, speaking of entertainment, if The Bachelor is the #1 show in America, and if that doesn't tell you what the fuck's going on with our society, then wake up, pal. Wake up, bud. Because, I mean, that's a scary realization. That is one of the worst shows I've ever come across. It's just a full waste of time. And I'm not saying I don't waste my time with shit, but you can't tell me The Bachelor where it's just a zoomed-in makeout session for a full hour with people who just met 30 minutes ago. This guy's making out with 9 different girls in like a 30-minute window. These girls are meeting him after 30 minutes. They're going, I don't know what the guy's name is, but like, Jason's the most intellectually and emotionally intelligent person I've ever met in my life. And then at the end, I was like, make no mistake, I didn't even watch this. This was on TV. Someone was watching in my house, and I was walking by it a couple times. I was doing something, and like I hear him at the end of a commercial break go like, "True love is worth fighting for." It's like, dude, what's going on with these people? If you're this good looking, because they're good looking people. I'm not gonna be bitter here. They're hot people. Why do you need a show to meet people? If you're the guy and you're 6'4" and you have a jaw of steel and you're fucking, I'm a banker and I fucking right. Go out and walk along the streets of Manhattan and just pick someone up, dude. Why do you need a show for this? It's the weirdest thing. And people who watch this, I feel bad for because it's just just melting your brain. It's melting your fucking brain. So, I mean, that's a scary realization. When I saw that and I realized, like, oh my God, people, it's almost the only way I'll accept people watching it is because it's so cringe that it's actually funny. Like, every time I would see something, I would, like, audibly yell and be like, oh my fucking God, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, shit like that. And it would actually maybe spike the dopamine a little bit. But, and also, if you get into an argument, like, not an argument, but if you ever, like, poo-poo The Bachelor in front of someone who watches it, they'll defend it. They will defend it to the death. They'll talk about it like it's all good and it's just, dude, what do you mean? It's just entertainment. Or like, I love it. It's oh my God, you're just being miserable. It's like, no, you're melting your brain. Read a book, find a hobby. Find a hobby. And I mean, Jesus Christ, that is a scary one. Okay, so I was planning on doing a who would you rather date your daughter question, and it was going to be between the guy I'm about to talk about and the mid-20s guy who was in crypto at like right before the bubble burst, and he still thinks there's like a lot of legs in it, and he's just always talking about it, and every time you speak to him consecutively, the money that he had in crypto, he claims, just continues to climb. But then I realized that the first person, it's a no contest. He's the worst, and if you have this person dating your daughter, it's over. Every single family barbecue until you die is going to be just misery because you're going to hear him from around the block when he arrives at your house. So this is a guy who, I mean, geez, I'm getting a little worked up thinking about this. He is very pale. He's shaving his head, pretty much bald. Even though he's not even balding, he does it just for the look. He has a chin strap of sorts, and he's always wearing UFC regalia. So he's wearing either UFC t-shirts or McGregor merch. He's maybe taken 2 to 3 MMA classes a couple years ago, but I mean, you'd think he's an expert in the sport, and you'd think he's a black belt because he talks about it like it's his whole life. He is a little overweight, but nothing crazy because he's hitting the bench 4 times a week. And this is the kicker. I mean, he owns either a Dodge Charger or Challenger or maybe a Camaro. It's got an aftermarket red racing stripe on it, but the car's black. And the way you really know it's this guy is you're driving along in maybe a 35-mile-an-hour zone, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit faster than that, and you get cut off by a guy doing 90 in that car. And the way you know it's him is that after he passes you, I'm not even kidding around, a fucking cumulonimbus cloud comes out of his driver's side window. Literally, he's blowing in, he's sucking wind, he's sucking smoke out of a fucking high school, like, what are those called? A fucking Texas Instruments TI-84 calculator with a metal mouthpiece on it. He's sucking like a little nipple, and he's fucking sucking this smoke out of it and blowing clouds out the window. This guy probably also was doing those competitions. I remember that was some of the funniest shit, where they would do competitions in like an arena where they would blow like vape smoke out, and whoever blew it the like longest distance would win. This guy's the worst. So I was gonna do a who would you rather date your daughter between that and the crypto guy, but it's not even close. It's that guy. So we're approaching the end of this week's JohnnyCast. I apologize for the delay. My schedule's a mess, and I'm gonna clue you in on a couple things. It wasn't the best week for Johnny, and it's not the best day for Johnny either, but that's not for you to know. It's for me to deal with. So we're gonna get through this. We're gonna have a good time, and let's talk about music, because that's the shining light in this hellhole we call life. Am I right? So recently, I mean, there's been a little bit of a drought in terms of new music, in my opinion. Let's think about what I've recently been listening to. I do like the Trippie Redd new album. It's just because I'm a big fan of his. I love how Chief Keef produced it because, I mean, you could hear the influence crazy. His track on it is fucking awesome. The track with Lucky is awesome as well. It sounds like it could have been an extra on A Trip at Night. It could have been a bonus track on there. It's got that Rage sound, which Trippie Redd has to do a follow-up for that first album that he did with the Rage beats, because it was just electric. What else am I listening to? S.G. Lewis, what is it called? I think it's called Oh Laura, I believe. Great song. He's got a great vibe to him. He's been on a run the last year. And then other than that, I've been reaching into my post-grunge bag a lot. I mean, a couple months ago, I was really back into grunge, and really specifically, the first time around in high school when I was really into it, I liked Alice in Chains, but I wasn't like fully into them as I was like Bush and a bunch of other bands. But now, Alice in Chains really did it for me. So I've been really into Alice in Chains, and that's kind of transitioned now into a post-grunge world. And so I'm like hard alt. I wouldn't call it new metal. So like my buddy sent me, I think he sent me The Red by Chevelle a couple weeks ago, and that's a song obviously I knew. And a couple other songs that they've done I was aware of. But I did a deep dive on that album that the Red's on, and that's a great album. They have a lot of great songs on that. What else we got? I don't know. It's just been a drought. There's been a drought. You got this girl, Glorilla. What is Spotify doing pushing this artist? I don't understand. The globalists are up to something. Something's going on because, I mean, I'm a big Memphis rap guy. This Glorilla shit is so bad. I don't understand why Spotify would put that #1 on their New Music Friday playlist. There's got to be a conspiracy. The beat sounds, my friend said this is true. The beat sounds like it was made on like a fucking like high school version of like FL Studio, you know, when your boys are getting together and freestyling over it, and you're doing the vocals into an Apple headphones mic. I mean, it just sounds horrible. She's just cringe as fuck. I don't know. I just don't get it. So until we hear some better music come out of Memphis in the hopeful near future, that's my taste in my mouth that I have from Memphis right now is Glorilla, and it's horrible. So that's pretty much, I'm trying to think. Let's think if I could pull a couple more music things out of my pocket. Speaking of Memphis rap, this is old because I think I'm forgetting when I started recording these podcasts, but I think that was after Dolph died, R.I.P. And Young Dolph is one of the rappers that, I mean, he is such a fucking motivational dude. It's so awesome listening to Young Dolph. All of his lyrics, all of his bars are so like self-made, empowering. It's some of the highest quality pump-up content for rap you can hear. Another guy like that's flying under the radar is Larry June right now. He's talking about finances and he's talking about just leveling up. He's a fucking G. Even old a lot of Jay-Z, but I'm talking about Jay-Z this podcast a lot. I'm not even a big Jay-Z fan, but Reasonable Doubt being one of my favorite albums of all time. I mean, there's so much shit on Reasonable Doubt that is so like life lesson type shit. I mean, even if you listen to like Regrets at the back end of the album, that's an incredible song. So I've been listening to a little bit of that. But yeah, I'm just waiting for some new good tracks to come out. And that's pretty much it. Oh, look at this. Actually, see, thank God I checked the notes because I do have another thing to talk about. This is a hysterical story. So my friend, the lead singer of my band, he had really long hair. He cut it into a mullet, and it looks fucking badass. And I was like, fuck, because I had a mullet like last year, and I cut it also. I'm so regretful. So I'm growing it back out. I don't know if you can see it. It's peaking a little bit. But the point is I was like, dude, that shit's sick. Where do you get cut? I want to figure that out. So like when my hair's long enough, I can go to this guy. And he's like, yeah, I went to this place, like the X place, and I showed him this picture, and he sends me a picture. He sends me a picture of Mariano DeVayo. Now, I didn't even know this guy's name. I had to look it up, but everyone knows who Mariano DeVayo is, I think, if you're a guy and you've gotten a haircut before, because Mariano DeVayo is another fake person. He's literally like, it doesn't make any sense. So I guarantee you, like I've shown, this is why it cracked me up. I've shown a picture of Mariano DeVayo to like 8 or 9 different hairdressers over the span of my life. And it just cracks me up because every time I'm sure the fucking hairdresser's like, I'm fucked. Like this guy wants me to make him look like Mariano DeVayo. Like, even if I was a world-class plastic surgeon and I reconstructed his entire face, I wouldn't be able to look like Mariano DeVayo. So the fact that, like, I guarantee you, 1 in every 4 people who sits down in a fucking, 1 in every 4 people who sits down in a hairdresser's seat is like, hey, can you make me look like this guy? And it's just like, oh, you're ruining my ability to do my job. The standard is too fucking high. And so Mariano fucking DeVayo, I'll throw a picture up of who I'm talking about because it's such a funny thing. I was calling him Mariano DeGaio. I didn't even know his name, but the guy, even though he's Italian, he's got like a French fucking facial hair, and he's like 40 something probably, but he looks like he's still 25. He hasn't touched Rogaine in his life. He's got the best hairline ever. Fuck that guy. Fuck Mariano DeVayo. And let's think. Let me think about. This has been a little bit of a scramble. This podcast. I'm trying to. My thoughts are all over the place. Another thing. I know I talked about Lululemon earlier, but I was talking to someone. I'm not going to reveal who it was. For confidential reasons. But I was talking to this guy about. We were having an underwear debate. Now, if you're a guy with dick and balls, if you're a guy who owns a pair of balls and you have a dick, you should, without any excuses, be wearing only Lululemon underwear, because I understand it's expensive, but it is worth every penny and it'll last you. And it's just, it'll take your life enjoyment to a different level that you didn't know existed. And I was talking to this guy, and he's like, dude, like, you fucking, I understand its quality. That's fucking gross, though. Like, I'm getting my underwear, I'm throwing it out after a couple months. Like, you tell me you're wearing the same underwear for a couple years? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, I didn't say this to him. I was like, what is this guy doing in his underwear that he needs to throw it out after a couple months? Like, that's startling to me. That's a little scary. What are you doing with your underwear where you have to literally throw it out after 3 months? So no, go ahead, go get yourself some Lululemon underwear and enjoy the benefits and the excitements of life in it, because Calvin Klein's won't even do the job anymore. It's Lululemon and then everyone else. And this is some advice coming from Johnny Kith, who you'd think maybe would be wearing some Kith underwear, but no. This is only a Lululemon branded fucking underwear scenario for Johnny Kith, and that's probably the best advice I'll ever give anyone. Lululemon for the underwear. Let's think of the last and how I'm going to end this podcast off, because I got a Sweet 16 tonight. I mean, I have to go for my cousin. Are you kidding me? I got to go to a Sweet 16, and I'm not drinking. I'm going to a Sweet 16, not drinking. Shout out to my old boss. My old boss actually is going to be there because we mutually know the family. I'm kind of excited to see him. It's going to be funny. I'm going to sign off. So, everyone, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Shoot me a comment if you feel a certain type of way. Maybe you don't like Lululemon underwear. Maybe you do like Glorilla. Who knows? And then also, hit me with a like. It's good for the algorithm. Hoping to chop up a lot of these for some clips for the TikTok, and let's hope that algorithm picks me up and Johnny does some numbers. So it's been a good one. Happy weekend. Enjoy yourselves, and let's go. Let's think. Let's go fucking, I don't know. Let's go. Cheers. Bye-bye.